What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Kenny Parker Show. We do this every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And today's a special edition because I dug up the beat tape and we're going to play it today, some of it. Haitian Space Program, you are number one today. What's good, Haitian Space Program? Spook Realm 4Q is in the building. Says assault the like button and buy the book. My brother's name is Kenny. Yes, the link is in the description below. Please hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. I'm going to do some quick shout outs and we're jumping right in. I don't recognize this name right here. Alumal 50. What up? Let me run through this real quick. Rosmel, what up? Gregory Nettis, what up? Rod Justice, what up? JCW82, what up? My Eagle Wolf, haven't seen you in a minute, what up? Let's see. I'm way behind too. I start out behind by shouting out people. JCW, what up? Kashantesh. Why do some people think the term boom bap wasn't used around the early 90s and so forth? Wasn't used, I guess, to around it because that's when most of the people started using it. I guess when KRS came with Return of the Boom Bap, it really took a life of its own at that point. But people had used the term before. Actually, Tila Rock, I believe, was the one that coined it back on It's Yours back in 80. What year was It's Yours? 85? All right, I'm going to jump into these beats and then I'm going to get back. Sweet Goldilocks, what up? I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. Sydney Rhodes, what up? All right, let's jump in. For those that's new to the channel, I posted we were talking about cassette tapes, and I posted a tape of KRS-One and Dougie Fresh live in Atlanta in 1997. It was a special event for a company called Tag Team. And I posted that cassette, but while I was there, I found this beat cassette while I was looking, and it says KP Beat Tape 1991. And it says We In There is in this on here. So this is some beats that I was playing around that time. There's a whole story behind it. For those that didn't see the sex and violence breakdown that I did on this channel about a year and a half ago, please check that out. I do the whole breakdown of how the Sex and Violence album was made and how my first music that I played for KRS-One ended up being a song called We In There. So this is the beat tape. I believe that I played some of this for him. I have a speaker right behind me. I don't have it too loud because those that know another show when I was playing music, the neighbors knocked on the wall and it became a whole thing. So there was a beat on here before We In There. So I just played that just to get a little sound check. Can y'all hear that clear? This was a beat that I had in 91, early KP. All right, let me pause that. Early KP. So most of these are just loops. At that point, when I made this tape, I was just really sampling loops. I was still early in the game, but that was the beat that was on there before. Okay, so this is We In There, how I played it for KRS. You notice there's no drums. Oh, shoot. There's no drums. It's just the loop. Now, this is the second. Somebody says we can hear it. We can hear it, but not as clear as your voice. So we can hear it, but it's not as clear as your voice, but it's probably the best you can do for now. Well, it's on an old dirty cassette. And I'm trying to be as close to the speaker as possible. So that was the second piece of what I played him. Let me forward to the end of this so you can hear the first piece. And you guys can get a feel. So I was playing some stuff. I probably played a few beats that was on this, maybe 2 or 3. And then I played this. Let's see. You guys can recognize this is the intro to We In There. So I was playing this, and I played this first, and then I played the We In There loop second, but they were separate loops that I had. And KRS was the one that said, here's what I need you to do. Take this first piece and combine it with this. He said he combined those 2 beats together and put some drums under it, and he left me there in the studio, just me and I believe engineer D Square, and he stepped off and went to get something to eat, and I put it together, and what you guys hear on the Sex and Violence album was what I eventually did off of this. Now there's some other beats on here. I'm gonna play just a couple, and then we'll see. Let's see. Narrator Fisher says that intro dope. That intro is dope. I wish it came in a couple more times on there. Oh, you mean the beat I played before? I'm hearing these for like the first time, really. I listened to some of it earlier today. Let me take a look at you guys' quick comments. Okay. Let me see what else is on this tape. Which side am I on? Yeah. There's some couple other beats on here too. I just want you guys to get a feel of where my head was at in 91. And some of these beats probably could have been on Sex and Violence. Could have been on Sex and Violence had Chris picked it. What's this? I'm gonna call this bass beat. That's all it was. Oh, there's a Public Enemy sample. Oh. I said. Don't know if I ever got to play this for KRS. I don't even know if we got that far because we started working on We In There. Let's see what else is on here. I'm gonna call that bass beat. This is all from 1991. We started working on Sex and Violence in 91. It came out in 92. So, it's fading out. So let's see what else is on here. There's buzz on here and everything. This is crazy. This reminds me of Breath Control. Remember Breath Control, Style Elite? I think I'm going to call this Breath Control 3. It's Just a loop. That's all it was doing. I doubt I played any of these, but any of these could have been on Sex and Violence, maybe, had we got further on into this tape. But I get we didn't, obviously. Oh, this sounds kind of rugged. Let me see what this is. This is kind of raw. I believe this was Barry White. I shouldn't be telling, but Sidney Rhodes said this is New Jack Swingers. Yeah? I believe this is, I'm going to call this Barry White. Sugar Daddy says, "La smooth type beat." Rod Justice says, "I like your taste in samples, Kenny Parker." Thank you. Okay. Scientific says Barry White ain't claiming that. Okay. Definitely a 90s sound. Yeah, early 90s. These are all old funk records that I was sampling. So I thank you for that compliment for ones that like it. Young Kenny Parker would be very ecstatic to hear you say you like that track. There's probably like 2 or 3 more on here. I'm just going to play them. We're going to... Oh, what's this? This is like breath control. Breath control, breath control, breath control, silently, breath control, low, breath control, low. Yeah. This could, I'm going to call this breath control 4. There's a breath control on Ghetto Music. There's breath control 2 on Edutainment, and I played 3 and 4 on this tape. This could have been funky though. All right, moving right along. Sugar Daddy says, yeah, breath control. This sounds like it could have been breath. For those that know the song, breath control. Sampling a loop was so much harder back then. All love. Yeah, it was. Using the SP1200, you had to chop up things in pieces. First, it sounds like Hole from KRS-One album. I got to go back and listen to that. Let's see. Sounds like a Gangstar beat. Maybe. You think Preem could have? Possibly. Possibly. All right, let me see what else is on this tape. I hope y'all enjoying this, y'all. I just pulled out this tape and we just see what's on it. Rod Justice says you need to call that one bad breath control. Okay, we're gonna call that one bad breath control. That's funny. Verse Pro says, yeah, definitely gangstarish. Let's see what else is on here. Oh, that's fading out. Perfect. Oh, this is kind of, can y'all hear the bass on this? Oh, I like this. Oh man, I wish I knew where this loop was from. I'll probably work on this right now. Boom, 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 boom. This sounds like something we did on a Brand Nubian album. What can I call this? This is kind of moving. Corey Flood sounds, this sounds like a Spider-Man cartoon. It does. We're going to call this Spider-Man. I'm liking Spider-Man. I'm liking this. I wish I knew where I had got this from, because I would definitely work on this right now. That's kind of dope. Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man. Let's see. What else is on here? This sounds really chopped up. Sounds like I chopped this in 3 pieces. I think that's the end. Let me flip this over real quick and see what else is on here. This sounds like this could have been a ska record. We'll call that ska. For those that's just checking in, any of these could have been on Sex and Violence. I don't even think I played the rest of these tracks for Chris. We just got to We In There, and that was the end of it. Mr. York says, KP, where do you get the influence to come up with those beats? The influence? Well, I'm inspired by the producers before me that did tracks. Of course, KRS. I'm listening to old funk records. This is 91. I had just started DJing the end of 89. So I'm like a year into DJing. I had just started making beats at this point, probably like 6 months earlier. So I was just digging through records, buying records, looking for stuff to sample. This sounds like just drums. This is just drums. Yes, there's probably nothing else much left on here. So yeah, y'all, I wanted to play this tape so y'all can get a little feel of how We In There came together and what else, where my head was at in 91. It's just drums. These are all loops, by the way. These are all just drums. Okay, I think this tape is done. So yeah, y'all, that's what was going on in 91, and this is the tape. That sound like, was that Mandrill? I don't even know. I must have had like 10 or 15 loops on this track, on this tape. This is like a lot of guitars. kind of funky right here. All right, y'all. That is KP Beat Tape 1991. I'm gonna throw that right there. I'm gonna move this right here. I'm gonna spin around like this. I'm gonna move this up so I can get my whole head in the frame. Let's try to center this. And we're back to regular. Let me move this up. Boom. I hope you guys enjoyed that little peek. Yeah, so I was playing beats. That was probably one of my first beat tapes. And I played it for KRS in the studio, and that became We In There, a classic song for me. A couple of those tracks on there, I wish I had have explored more because it sounded like a couple of those had some potential. Big up to the Rewind crew too. You guys let me know if any beats on there had any potential. But you got to think 90, 91. Well, no, it would have came out in 92. So you got to think 91, 92 if any of those beats might have had some potential. I think I could have worked with a couple of those though. But I did other stuff because by the time we started working on more songs for Sex and Violence, by the time we did more stuff for Sex, I had more beats at that point. So the stuff that ended up on Sex and Violence was all done after this beat tape. So I got like a little better. I think I got a little better. Maybe I did. Who knows? Jive didn't think I was. JT4118, thank you so much for your contribution to the channel. Says, peace, KP. Our names are all messed up tonight. Some regulars have different names or additional numbers. Just a heads up. A word? Okay, thank you. So you're JT, regular JT, the family. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for the contribution. Sugar Daddy says that was dope, bro. Respect. Thanks. Gregory Netta says I could see MOP on that beat. Yeah, the funk guitar one. Rod Justice says I would have laced them all. Rod Justice, you was rapping in 91? Sugar Daddy says, hell yeah, got potential in 2025. Oh, you know what else I'm going to start doing, by the way? I'm going to start, when I did beats off of the disc, when I played beats off the SP1200, we did that like a month ago. We had 2 sessions. I hope most of you guys that's regulars to the channel got a chance to listen to that. Some people were asking for the tracks or can I put them up? Some people wanted to rhyme on them. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to navigate that. But what I will do is each week I'm going to start posting a track on this channel, just beats. I'm going to start with some old stuff that you guys heard. I'm going to post them on the channel so they're clear. And then I'm going to start posting other beats. So maybe if some people want to jump on the Kenny Parker beat or whatever, we'll work it out. But I'm going to start posting beats on the channel. I think I'm going to pick a day like Sunday morning or Sunday. Just a random day. I'm just going to throw a beat up on the channel just for people to check out. And I'm going to start with some of the beats that I played during the SP1200 session. I'm just going to throw those up clearer so you guys can hear it clearer. And I'm going to, EQ it a little better because it was coming straight out the SP1200 raw. I'm going to EQ them up a little better and throw them on here. So the people that want to hear more music, that'll be definitely a way to hear more music. And I'm down near the bottom now too, so I'm caught up with y'all. Let's see how long it takes for me to fall behind. I see people on here talking about immigration. Let me just say this real quick about immigration. I saw today, don't know if it's true, that the lead singer of Loose Ends, I forgot the young lady's name, but the lead singer of Loose Ends is in a ICE detention center and is about to get deported. The lead singer of Loose Ends is about to get deported out the country. Wow, that's terrible, man. I don't know what her situation is or her paperwork or whatever, but, you know, to be a singer, probably been coming in and out of America since at least, where's Loose Ends from, the UK? She's probably been coming to America since at least 85 when they had the big hit. And been working here all this time, and now to be in an ICE detention center. If that's true, that would be horrible. And let me also give a rest in peace to my man. I'm forgetting people's names right now because I got this music in my head. From the Whispers. I believe they were twin brothers. One of them just passed away at 81 yesterday. As you know, the Whispers, I believe they were signed to Solar Records, had a string of hits. I believe they were the Moments before they were the Whispers. Two of the brothers were in the group The Moments. I used to like, come on, sexy mama. That was my jam from The Moments. And then they became the Whispers. My favorite song is And the Beat Goes On. They had classic records, sold big numbers. I think they have like 2 or 3 gold albums. I think they have some slow jams in there. We were talking about slow jams a couple of weeks ago. So rest in peace to him. Please, somebody tell me his name so I could say it properly. But he was a legend in R&B music, and he's gone. Rod Justice says, I've been in the mic since 84. Oh, wow. Dope. Sydney Rose says, Job RCA can get the Bozak. Thank you, Sydney Rose. Those of you, check out my sex and violence breakdown. I can tell you part of my whole relationship with Jive Records. It was not a good one. Flow Tree, 1111. Dope beats, KP. Thank you. You had that era sound sewn like a seamstress. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Peace and gratitude. Thanks. I wish I could have got some more of those beats out. I mean, I was brand new. I was working exclusively with KRS, and I was working with Heather B too. Some of them beats could have been for Heather as well. Like I always say, we worked on 2 albums. We had 2 albums worth of material. We had 2 albums we were working on before her Taken Mine album came out in 1996, which is considered her first album. But for us, that's her 3rd album because we had 2 other albums that was never released. I have some DATs of some of those songs. I got to dig out a DAT player, and I got to find one or maybe buy one and see if I could play some of that stuff for you guys. But so those, I wish I could have got more of those beats out. Back then I was new. I wanted to play beats for my brother, and he picked some stuff, so it worked out for me. But I wish I could have got more of those beats out. Flower Tree 1111. Is that like the Flower Tree 1 with an echo? Says, I would donate more, but I had hip surgery yesterday and temporary disability be affecting my financial abilities. Oh, wow. It's an honor. I've been an MC since 89. First of all, thank you so much for your contribution to the channel. And thank you for anybody that contributes to the channel. It really helps. And I use it to do different things, like buy this wireless mic and try to make the channel better. And we got more things in store coming. But hip surgery is real. I've never had hip surgery, but from what I heard, it's very real. Please, please, please get well and take care of yourself. And I appreciate once again your contribution. And from the Kenny Parker Show and our family here and the Rewind crew get better. And thank you for checking in even after having surgery yesterday. So are you still in the hospital or are you home? If you had surgery yesterday, you're probably still in the hospital, right? I would imagine. MK Ultra says we need a KP show into beat. Black President says, Kenny, would you DJ for another MC? Raises KRS-One. Sure. It depends on who it is. I'm BDP for life, but it depends on who it is. Sure. In 2025, sure. It depends. Especially if I know the MC or if I have a history or something like that. No problem. JT, so does anyone know if MMA Crossfire is in here tonight? MMA is a regular. MMA, what's up? The original CMC, that's dope, KP. Oh, this is what MKO said. We need a DJ KP show intro beat. Yeah, I mean, I want to do that too. I just got to figure out. I'm going to play some beats. Maybe we all could pick one and use that as the intro. And then I have to figure out how to have it on here. We're still waiting on them epic fails. Milli Vanilli, how Jive dropped the ball on BDP albums. Well, how Jive dropped the ball is actually a rant. It's not an epic fail. That's more like a rant. I should do that. I should do that to break down because that's my rant. Not trying to diss anybody from Jive, even though I have hardly any relationship with anybody from Jive except for that's a lie. I have a relationship with a few people from Jive over the years. I'm gonna shout out Ann Carley, Vice President of Jive. I'm gonna shout out Jeff Sledge, a couple people. But I might do that. How Jive dropped the ball on BDP albums. I want to do that as a whole thing, not just talk about. I want to do it as a whole thing with pictures and music, so you guys can get a feel of what I'm saying. I think KRS could have been way bigger. Boogie Down Production and KRS-One could have been bigger to me if they got the minimal promotion comparative to other acts. I'm going to break that down one day. The Epics failed Milli Vanilli. I think I'm going to tape that tomorrow morning and put that up. So I just have a story about that. And I want you guys to hear it. Just how shady the music business is. But that's another one of my rants. Y'all know I get hot when we talk about the music business and how shady everybody is. LTKKK Kenny, do you have a favorite plaque? Not because of sentimental reason, but for its design. Well, this one right here for this design, this was a plaque that came out after 1997. So it was all of KRS-One's albums that were on Jive. Of course, Criminal Minded is not on there because Criminal Minded was not on Jive. It was on B-Boy Records. And all the albums after that is not on this. This was a 97 design. I have a whole story about this plaque. It's called Epic Fails Plaques. For those that didn't see it, please check it out. It's mad funny. There's a whole story behind how I got this plaque. And yes, this is absolutely going to be my favorite plaque because of how it looks and the story behind it. I also have a plaque from Naughty by Nature. Let me roll this up a little bit. Can y'all see that? That's Naughty by Nature. Shout out to Flavor Unit for one side is the platinum album. No, one side is the platinum single for OPP, and the other side is the double platinum album. They were selling double platinum. 91. Naughty was killing them. And the reason they gave me that plaque is because way back in the day, Sha Kim, who is the manager of Flavor Unit used to play me music and ask me my opinion of things. And we used to talk about music and stuff. I went to his crib a couple times and we chilled out. And after Naughty by Nature blew up, he thanked me by giving me that plaque right there. I got a few of them around. Some of them I didn't get. That I probably should have, but please check out the Epic Fails. It's called, what is it called? Gold Plaques? Please check that out. It's a funny story behind how I got this. Rhythm Shot said, ICE raiding the Home Depot parking lots and street vendors in my area. They're really, I understand that you have to do your job. And you are getting orders from up top that's coming down the pike to you to get the job done. And people voted for this. I don't like being political on this channel. This is a hip hop channel, but I'm just going to say this. People voted for this. So, and I understand these ICE agents have a job to do, but you got to be a special type of person to really sleep well at night after you like run up in schools and grab kids out and do things like that. I don't know. It's a job. You got to eat. Stories that they're presenting on the news and people getting deported by accident. Imagine you getting deported by accident to a country you've never been, or you haven't been there since you were a little kid. And they just drop you off, or they put you in a detention center in that country. And then if you're lucky enough to get some legal help or something, then they figure out, oh, my bad. And then they may or may not let you come back, even with my bad. It's terrible. I think the West Indian Day Parade that I go to every year in Eastern Parkway that's been going on for decades, I think people should be really careful going to that parade if your paperwork is not in order, because I think that's going to be a breeding ground for ICE to snatch people. It's terrible. That's my political statement for the day. Kashanti, nobody loves loose ends more than Atlanta. Nobody. Hanging on the String was fire, man. I still play that record in my mix. Great record. I mean, they had a string of records, but that was a dope one. Rosmel said Slow Down was dope too. Bugger says, what up, Kenny? I saw that on Matt Skills page regarding the leasing of Loose Ends. I'm not sure if that's true. I have not seen official confirmation, but that is a tough one. Chris Gonzalez says, my cousin and my uncle deported. Sorry to hear that, brother. Jane Eugene, is that her name? Yes, Walter Scott is the name of the guy. Thank you so much, Chef Daddy. Walter Scott is the name of the singer from The Whispers that passed away at age 81. You know, the older we get, the more of our childhood heroes are going to pass. And it's a tough one. He got 81 years off on this earth, and he left a mark that'll never be forgotten. But it seemed like, I remember before I was saying, it seemed like every week we were talking about a hip hop, somebody from our hip hop family passing. Now it seems like every week somebody from the R&B world is passing. Shalimar was on Solar, but I thought maybe the Whispers, I know Shalimar was on Solar and Lakeside was on Solar. Maybe the Whispers recorded in Solar Studios. Mr. York says, and the beat goes on was playing heavy in New York City around 79. Heavy. That was a big record. I mean, I don't know what it was in the rest of the country, but in New York in 79, that record was on every second. This is great. George Grasper, that sounds awesome. Thanks for playing those old beats. Thank you so much. For those that's just checking in, we were playing old beats off a 1991 beat cassette that I played for KRS-One in the studio, which ended up becoming the song We In There. So you can rewind after this if you just missed it and check it out. He says, the video inside the Temple of Hip Hop was amazing too. Thanks. Your songs always sound great. Yeah, I'm going to do another Temple of Hip Hop walkthrough maybe later on in the year when they put more stuff up. Say Uncle says, Glocks Down, L to the Next mix was fire. Oh, thank you so much. I threw that on the back of All Glocks Down. It's a long, All Glocks Down has a long story, but long story short, the song had been playing in New York City for months before it was eventually released. So when they eventually made the 12-inch, I just wanted to give the DJs in New York something different. So I did a quick remix in the studio and of All Glocks Down and put it on the back. And it ended up getting played in different parts of the country. People did exactly what I wanted them to do. After they listened to the original, they flipped it over, and the L to the Neck mix gave the song a couple more weeks of life. So yeah, thank you for that. You're the first person that's ever told me that. Really appreciate that. You are literally the first person that's ever told me that they like that mix. Oh, wow. They're saying that Jane, the Loose Ends singer, was here on a visa that expired 19 years ago. I saw a bunch of Jive turkeys. That's true, but wow, if you're on a visa that expired 19 years ago, wow. How did they find her? I mean, she's done mad shows. She was all over the place in the past 19 years. But if you're a singer like that and you want to move properly, I guess you got to take care of that, right? That means she did not leave America at all, because if she left the country, she couldn't come back. Is that true? That would be very interesting. I mean, you can't be here on a visa that's been expired for 19 years. Kennard Roberts says, KP, who made the beat for You Struggling? That song would bang into today's playlist. KRS, I believe that's on the Edutainment album. And we're talking about the same song. Funny story behind that song, when Heather B first started working with KRS, this was early. I think she was still in school at that point. We went by Chris's crib. We was all there chilling. Me, Chris, Miss Melody, rest in peace, Heather B. I think Miss Melody's cousin was there. A few people was there. We were just all laughing, and Chris was cracking jokes. And Heather said to him, "You struggling, man," like that. She used to say it all the time, "Man, you struggling." She said that to KRS. "You struggling." And he started laughing. He's like, "You struggling." And he just stood up, went into the music room, left us in the living room, and just started writing. He wrote that whole song, You're Struggling, in like 1 hour. No, like, I was looking at his rhyme book later on. It wasn't like a lot of crossing out. Like, he just wrote that whole song in 1 hour. and went into the studio, and he produced the track. So when Heather said "You're Struggling," that turned into a whole song. He wrote it in 1 hour, maybe less. He just got up, went in the room, and wrote it. Tracy says, "Speedy healing." Yes, please. Gregory Ness says, "Yo, Ken, do you know or remember MC Trouble? She was a dope female MC, passed away at 20. Yeah, I remember MC Trouble. I remember her video. Was she signed to Motown or something? I believe she had, I think you can't say the C word on YouTube. But she had an illness and passed away early. I remember that. I remember MC Trouble. Yes, I do. Her videos used to be on a lot. Did you or KRS ever produce tracks for Freddie Foxxx? KRS and Freddie Foxxx has a whole album. But I believe Freddie Foxxx did the tracks on that album and Chris Ryan. Did I ever? Yeah, I produced for Freddie Foxxx. Sex and Violence album, there's a song called The Original Way. And it's KRS and Freddie Foxxx on the Sex and Violence album. And I had no idea Freddie Foxxx was going to be on that song. I made that track in 91. And Chris said, bring it to the studio. He's going to rock on it. Brought it to the studio because we worked it out first at my crib. And then we went to the studio. We got to the studio. Freddie Foxxx was there. I think I had just met Freddie Foxxx. Either I had just met him or I met him that day. Like I had barely known him and he was right there. I think I had met him once before. And he jumped right on. Big up to Bumpy Knuckles. He was a guest on this channel a few months ago. Big up Bumpy Knuckles. So the answer is yes, I did produce a song for Freddie Foxxx. We should have did more music together, tell you the truth. Mike Rock says, we got popcorn and Miller Lite watching DJ KP. Yes, thank you so much, Mike Rock. Oh, Floetry one says, no, I'm home, just laid up. Oh, so you can have the hip surgery and then be home the next day. That's dope. What kind of meds do they give you? Healing up. Spook Realm says, healing up for you. Yes. Blessings, Floetry. Yes, man. Oh, this is easy. Yo, Ken, we had to pick between 99 degrees and 2 degrees. What would you pick? I'm a summer baby. I'm 99 all day. It was 100 degrees here in New York 3 days ago. Now it's brick, but it was 100 degrees like 3 days ago. I used to be outside playing ball in 100 degrees when I was a kid. 90 degrees, because it used to get real hot in New York back in the 80s. I remember 95, 96. I used to be outside shooting around by myself because nobody would come outside. I hate wintertime. 2 degrees is never an option. What does the term boom bap mean to you? Well, the term boom bap means to me is hard drums and more of a stripped down sound. So it could be music, but the drums have to be hard. The term sounds exactly like what it is. Boom bap, the boom, the bap. And I believe Tila Rock in the end of It's Yours, he said the boom, the bap, the boom bap. That's what it is. It's the sound of the drums. So songs with hard drums, most notably, say DJ Premier, but there's others like a Marley Marl. There's quite a few people, boot camp type sound, but to me, it's hard drums. Never Ed Fisher said that Karen Wheeler joint would be a dope ass intro. Oh yeah, you mean the beat that I did for Karen Wheeler back in '96 that never came out? I'm gonna put all of those beats. Now I'm not gonna put the Karen Wheeler beat up because she sung on that beat. I gotta get her permission. But the other ones I'm gonna put up. MK Ultra says Epic Rants. I should get a thing called Epic Rants. That would be dope, Ultra. Because there's Epic Fails. I should do Epic Rants. I would get a lot of people upset if but I'm gonna do the Epic BDP rant. I'm Epic Rants. That is a great idea. And that's what I'm gonna call it. Epic Rants. Yes. Dr. Charles Bombay, what up? Says MMA in the building. JT called it. MMA, what's good? Let's see. Kenny is Soldier Boy DJ. If he hires correctly, maybe. Henry Cedillo, what up? Kenny P, do you consider the way DJs modern day mixing and scratching to be sane? I'm not sure what you're saying. Everyone has their own style. I don't hear a lot of scratching and mixing today. Not in popular songs. I'm sure in the underground people are still scratching and mixing, but scratching and mixing has been around since scratching on records has been around since the early 80s. So I wouldn't say it's that different, but it's less now. But everyone has their own style. I try not to compare, and it's hard, but I try not to compare 30 years ago to today because hip hop is almost unrecognizable now compared to what it was before. It's literally unrecognized. It's almost like a different genre of music now. Let's see. Corey Flood says the Kenny Parker Challenge. We're going to get that how Jive dropped the ball on BDP rant by Labor Day. Before Labor Day. I'm going to do that. LTKK says, ooh, I'm going to check out that Plaque video after this. Thanks. Yes, please. For those that's new to the channel, it's called Epic Fails Gold Plaques, I believe. And it's a funny story about this plaque. Sydney Rose says, Jive Records publicity and promotion was always a step slow. It was a step slow for some people. UGK. I saw a funny story with UGK, with Bun B. It says when they first signed to Jive, they had just signed their contract and they were coming out of the office and ran into KRS-One in the hallway. And they said, yo, KRS-One, what's up? We're UGK. We just signed a Jive. And they said, Bun B said, Chris said, did you sign the contract already? And they said, yeah. And then Chris said, oh. And Bun B said he never forgot that. I'm sure Bun B figured out what KRS meant years later. Latrice Washington, I miss KRS lectures on Sundays. Yeah, the Temple of Hip Hop channel on YouTube, but he's been on tour crazy. So I'm sure he doesn't have time. Let's see. Back in '90, Chuck D said Entire Records mag to learn everything about the industry before chasing a deal. I read that and never thought about a record deal again. Yeah, there was a book, Everything You Know About the Music Game, or something like that. I wouldn't discourage you from signing a deal. It's just knowing what you're getting into and knowing who you're dealing with. See, the problem is you don't know who you're dealing with, or you don't know what you're getting into till after the fact. Then it's too late. Jerry Duckery, what up? I don't recognize that name. What up? Did you produce the song 100 Heads by Heather B? Yes. That was going to be part of a follow-up album after Taking Mine in '98, but circumstances, we never put that out. But that was just like a promo record we did. Yes, I did produce that. And Heather performed that, a verse of that, on Rap City. There's a Rap City episode with Joe Claire and Heather B rapping and interviewing, and then me on the turntables. He interviewed me as well. And Heather performed 100 Heads on that Rap City, but it never came out. The original CMC, thank you once again for your contribution to the channel. I would love to see you and Questlove interview each other. You guys seem very similar in some ways. Really? That would be dope. I met Questlove a couple of times. I've never really had a chance to have a conversation with him. I just seen him in passing. Just said, what's up? I think I've seen him like 3 times. I've probably talked to Black Thought. I think I've had maybe one conversation with Black Thought, not even a full conversation, just like a little short conversation. But I've never had a chance to really chop it up with Questlove. That would be dope. That'd be real dope. Loose Ends was my favorite group as a kid. Yeah, man. Yo, what's up? This is a great question, Jason. Yo, what's up, DJ KP? As an adult, did you ever cross paths with any of your childhood bullies and they was on some humble shit? Man, first of all, I don't see that many childhood bullies, but I see people on Facebook that I didn't really get along with, like say in high school, grammar school. And they be like, yo, what's up? And they be acting like they don't remember that we weren't really that cool. Like, I have not seen you in 20, 30, maybe 30 years, maybe more, like 40 years. And that means the last time we saw each other, we weren't really that cool. We were kids and didn't really care for each other. And now 40 years later, you're like, yo, what's up on Facebook? Like, befriending me and sending me DMs. And I'm like, you don't remember that we're not really that cool? One dude that used to bully me in 7th grade, I talk about him in the book. Years later, maybe when I was like 25. So 7th grade is like 12. So when he used to bully me when I was 12. So say 13 years later, I was 25. I saw him in Brooklyn. And he had a demo. And he gave me his demo. No, I saw him in Brooklyn and he said, yo, I got a demo. I'm trying to rap. And I just was like, word. And I just kept it moving. So he saw my childhood friend, Daryl, who I talk about in the book, and he gave Daryl the demo to give to me. And so when I saw Daryl gave me this dude's demo. We were walking down the street. Daryl said, I did my job. Here is the dude's demo. And I said, thank you. And we walked another 3 steps and I threw it right in the trash. And we both started laughing. I didn't even listen to her. I just threw it straight in the trash. But Daryl was like, I did my job. I gave you the demo. And I was like, yes, you did your job. And I'm about to do my job. This dude used to torment me in 7th grade. And now he's handing me a demo like it's nothing. Like, it's unbelievable how people either forget how they treated you or just disregard, like that was back in the day, don't count, or don't think you remember. But to answer your question, I've seen quite a few, because I had quite a few bullies growing up. And one way or other, I managed to vanquish them all. That's in my Marvel Thor voice. Corey Floods, the Whispers were indeed on Solar as well as Midnight Star. Thank you. Solar was huge for a second. Deep Cover Soundtrack might be the last Solar release. Yeah, because Suge came up under the owner of Solar, who was rumored to be like a Suge and taught Suge everything he knew about the music business. And I believe Suge came up under, I forget, Dick Griffey or Gene Griffey? Dick Griffey, I think, was the owner of Solar. And Suge used to work for him. And that's how Suge learned the game. And but Solar had a lot, they were on fire. They had the studio. They had the studio that a lot of the Chronic was recorded at. Just Keep On Loving Me by the Whispers. That was a dope record. Just Keep On Loving Me. That was dope. I forgot about that. Let me jump down a little bit. Leon Silva from the Silvers did a lot of Solar production. I believe Leon Silva was like a child prodigy. The Silvers never got their proper due. I'm going to jump down. Scroll down, Benny Doyle. I would argue that Boom Bap should have been called Boom Bip. Boom Bap sounds a little harder to me, but oh, this is funny. Brother 22 says, I believe the Souls of Mischief were at a radio station after being dropped by Jive and started their independent run when KRS showed up shouting, "You're free." KRS had a very difficult relationship with Jive. I would say love-hate relationship, but more hate than love. It's funny, though, because some of the people that work there on the lower levels, marketing, promotion like that, was super cool. Super cool. What happened that made KRS scared to fly, or why doesn't he? It's a long story. I talked about it a few times on this channel. He had a couple of plane scare incidences that made him not fly. I've talked about it like 3 or 4 times on the channel, so I'm not going to go into it too deep. But I remember KRS once said he and Premier were working on an album called Return of the Boom Bip some years ago. Yes, they were. Don't know what happened to it. Dr. Charles Bombay said that bully question was a great question. It was, and I despise bullies. Like, I despise them. And I think whatever happens to them and whatever you have to do to a bully to get him off you, you should be allowed to do it. I despise bullies almost as much as I despise music industry people. Maybe more. A lot of childhood bullies are probably no longer among the living. That, because like I said, a bad kid becomes a bad teenager a lot of times, becomes a bad adult. And depending on the era you grew up in, a bad kid get caught up in with the wrong crowd. They're probably either doing, like they say, football numbers, or they're not here anymore. It's very rare that you see somebody that was a terror as a kid and now they all cleaned up. I mean, it's possible, but that's not really the path, usually. Yeah, I don't like bullies, and I remember them. See, the thing is, when you're a bully and you bully so many people, you probably don't even remember because you did so much dirt. But the people that you bullied, they remember you clearly. JT, thank you so much for your oh no, wait. TJ. Is it TJ? Is it messing up the names? I'm going to say TJ because we have a JT. TJ 3000. I hope this is your name. Thank you so much for your contribution to the channel. I really appreciate it. Because KP had classic heads, shoulder back down, packing all the videos. KP had classic head, shoulder bop down, packing all the videos. Oh, my head bopping all the videos. Yeah, that was my go-to. I'm not really a dancer. I'm one of them dudes that used to be in the club, and like I talk on this channel, I was addicted to hanging out to the point of it was too much. But I never was dancing. I've never danced in a club in my life. Once. I'm going to get to that story in a second. But I'm the guy on the wall with my friends, and we just like this. I'm having the time of my life on the wall like this. The only time I ever almost danced was I was in the tunnel and I ran into my good friend, Moni Love. And she was trying to convince me to come on the dance floor and dance. And it was so funny because there was no way. But I almost hilariously danced with Moni Love in the tunnel. She probably doesn't even remember that, but I do because that's the closest I came to dancing in a club. Rhythm Shot says bullying or being bullied was a part of high school. Yeah, but I don't think it should have been. See, my problem with bullying, and we all laugh and crack on each other. Like, I grew up in New York. I'm sure most hoods are pretty much the same. We crack on each other, we rough around with each other, but there reaches a point where everyone is laughing except one person. See, when everyone is laughing and the one person is not laughing and it's every day, that's one becomes a problem. And two, when a person says stop, like when you can see when a person's had enough, they don't want it, or they don't want to fight you, or they don't want to be part of the fun anymore, and they say stop, and you keep going, see, that's when the line gets crossed. And when I was in grammar school, when I was in grammar school, because things changed when I got to high school. When I was in grammar school, I was a little timid. I didn't understand how to deal with bullies. Now, if I had the mentality I have now, I probably would have got suspended early. But then again, a lot of bullies wouldn't have bullied me because my whole demeanor would have been different. See, bullies pick on people. They look for victims and people who they can pick on. They're really the weak ones. It looks like they're the strong ones picking on the weak, but mentally they're really the weak ones. I'm not going to start my bully rant, y'all, but it is a part of high school. But it shouldn't be. Now they have all kind of anti-bullying campaigns and zero tolerance for bullies and stuff. When I was growing up, man, kids was fighting outside and the security guard would just be standing there. Like, man, I'm not getting involved in that. I'm just here to get my money. You can get your brains beat in and security be standing right there. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, Bronx. It was extra hood. So imagine bullying and all that to the next level. Because it was more than bullying. It was criminal activity. I don't know what this means, fake peace offerings, but I like how it sounds because a lot of people are that. This is funny. I went, Dr. Charles Bombay. I went to high school with a racist piece of ish, one of those skinhead dudes, and I saw him on social media a few years ago looking for Jay-Z tickets. That's what I love about hip hop. Hip hop has brought more different people from more different walks of life together than I think any form of music. I can't, off the top of my head, think of any movement outside of Martin Luther King that has brought more people from different races, creeds, religion, backgrounds, socioeconomic status together as one to enjoy one thing like hip hop has. And you know what's funny? The guy who was a racist probably was looking for Jay-Z tickets and was still a racist. But he'll put it to the side to rock with Hov for a second. That's whack, and that's mad funny. KP Play, thank you so much for your contribution to the channel. Says, yo, I think you'd be a great counselor. Thank you so much for that. I actually went to school for, I actually went to college for psychology. So that's probably a field that I would have been leaning towards had I not joined the family business, which was hip hop. Thank you so much for that compliment. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I wish I could talk to youth more. I do lectures now. Since my book has come out, I've been booked for some speaking engagements where I got a chance to talk to kids about my growing up. And, you know, this day and age is different because social media is a different form of bullying. You know, it's bullying, but it's different. And in some ways it could be worse mentally for these kids. And I try to talk to them, but I wish I could really go around and talk to these kids about bullying. It really makes life difficult. I see Mike Tyson talk about bullying. I remember I was watching an interview with him. This is Iron Mike. Although he grew up in Brownsville, which was the worst section of Brooklyn, which was the worst part of New York City. So you got to imagine Brownsville is probably at that time the worst neighborhood in the country, because New York City was #1 in crime in the country. And the worst area in New York was Brownsville, Brooklyn, where Mike Tyson grew up, MOP. Imagine thousands of MOPs and Mike Tyson's walking around. Big up Billy and Fane. I'm just saying. And I seen him talking. He was having an interview, and somebody asked him about bullying. And he got quiet, and you could just see his mind go to a place. And he got very upset. It looked like he wanted to cry. And he was talking about how much he was bullied as a kid. And that's how he got into boxing. Bullies forced him into boxing, and how much he despises them. And I really felt his pain because me and Mike Tyson are like the same age, and we grew up in the same area. So I understand exactly what he's talking about. I'm going to get off the bullying today. I could talk about bullying all day. Jimmy Knight, thank you so much for your contribution to the channel. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Murs was mentioning on his podcast that Karis takes the boat. Yes. His European tour, he just took the cruise. Well, it's a cruise, really, but 12 days one way. So when we go to Europe, when I used to go to Europe with Chris, he would leave for 12 days and we'd be booked to fly on the 11th day. So we'd catch up with him on the 11th day. Then we going home. We all flying home. Chris will see you in a couple of weeks. Oh, it used to be funny. Scientific says the bully don't need to become bullies, but there's a balance. Well, I mean, some people say I'm back on this bullying. Some people say bullying builds character. I don't know. It just reaches a level where you can't take it anymore. And when you reach the level you can't take it anymore, that's when they really pour it on. When they really see that they broke you, that turns a bully on. It's never going to stop until you confront them. I wish I knew now. I wish I knew then what I know now, man. I would have had a whole different childhood. I'll tell you that much. Hardcore Alquan said a couple of bullies of mine from 6th grade are doing life. Yeah, that's the trajectory. That's the trajectory. I'm on this bully tale. I don't know why I'm seeing the comments, and it's I'm triggered right now. That's a modern word. Flochi says, I regret anyone I ever made feel bullied. I got bullied a lot, and it kind of made me meaner than I was prior to that. I'm a lover more than a fighter for sure. Yeah, bullying could change your outlook. And I've been on the bullied side, and I've also been down very popular later on in high school as an athlete. So I got to chill with all the cool kids later on. So I got to see both sides of it. So I have like a real good understanding of these bullies, man. Def Rocker said the quiet guys are the ones that bullies are cautious of sometimes. See, there's quiet, but there's a certain look. See, there's quiet, but there's body language. This guy's not talking, but you know he's not scared of you, and don't try it. See, there's quiet guys who look that they're quiet because they're afraid. Then there's quiet guys that they're quiet because they don't do a lot of talking. They're all hands. And bullies, they can sniff out who's who really early. Rusty Horn says, was watching the Moni in the Middle the other day. Moni in the Middle. Shout out to Moni Love. Moni, come on the channel. Let's talk. Big Said, shout out to Big Said, who's been on the channel a past couple of weeks, causing a little mayhem on the channel in the comments section. He's in the Moni in the Middle video. He has on these thick glasses. If you go back and watch Moni in the Middle, there's a guy, I think he has on the thick glasses in the video. That's Big Said. He's been in quite a few videos back in the day. Jason, to a certain extent, music industry execs are worse bullies. Well, they have something over you. Bullies have physical dominance over you, or perceived physical dominance. Record companies have your livelihood, your ability to make music, your ability to get paid. That's like a boss can bully a worker because you can get fired. And you need your paycheck, so you don't want to get fired. The boss knows you don't want to get fired, so they have that power over you. And then you have those jerk bosses who, you know, if you met them outside in real life, they probably run from you. But because they have the position, they get to talk to you any kind of way. They're bullies too, as bosses. Music industry is a little different because they're more snaky. They're snakes. They're snakes. Because most music execs, they don't come to you rah-rah. They come to you like, you're my friend. I love you. We're here together. We're doing this together. You're the greatest thing I ever seen. It's Michael Jackson, then it's you. Are the two best we've ever heard. That's how they come to you. We love you. We love you. Till you get your royalty check. And then you go, oh, but it's too late. you're already way down the rabbit hole. I love this bullying topic, by the way. I'm trying to get off it, but I keep seeing you guys' comments, and it's hitting home. Worst of the bullying days was elementary, junior high school. No bullying in high school. Yeah, me too, kind of. Well, in high school, I came into myself, because I would have gotten bullied. Like when I first started high school, I got bullied a little bit from certain people, but as I came into myself, the bullying just disappeared overnight. DJ Joey Joe says, tall as you are, I can't see nobody bullying you, Kenny. But that's was part of it. Being the tallest person around causes people to make fun of you, or shorter people want to make an example out of you. Like if I chump him off, I'll look like somebody. Look, I'm gonna pick on the tallest dude here or the biggest dude here and embarrass him so I could be of stature. And like, to me, my mentality now is I would body slam a little dude to let him know, like, no, you're a little dude. But back then I didn't have that mentality. So I got bullied by little dudes too. More like cracking, not physical bullying, but more like teasing and cracking and talking about me. And, you know, it's funny for a second, but then it's like, all right, we get the joke, and it's like, nah, let's go on. Let's everybody chime in. You got to nip that stuff in the bud, man. Did Chris ever do a song with artifacts? Not that I know of. Parsons 79. This is a great question. Were you about to dance at the end of the Heal Yourself video or just bouncing? I hated that video. I don't know what I was thinking about. I had on some shorts that was too short. It was mad hot outside, but for some reason, I thought my shorts was right until I saw the video. And here's the thing. The Heal video, which was directed by Ted Demme, who was the creator of Yo MTV Raps, and his brother, Jonathan Demme, is the Oscar award-winning director of Silence of the Lambs. Them two were directing the Heal video. And it was going to be revolutionary because they were doing one take. That video was one take with no edits. So they had the cameras up, and when they start the music, all the rappers had a place where they had to be, and you had to practice it because people would come in and out as the camera moved, and we're doing one take. So at the end, when they shouted me out, I think they said Kenny Parker, and I came out and did that stupid bop. And then when I saw the footage, I was like, oh, this is horrible. I went to KRS Chris and I said, please take me out. Please. I was begging him to edit me out of that video. He was, no. He was like, we're leaving it in there. That's the video is one take. Like, this is it. We're leaving it in there. I literally begged him to take me out of that video. Matter of fact, as I saw this question, I wasn't even going to answer it because then it would make people watch the video. But I'm like, you know what? We keeping it real on the Kenny Parker Show. So I'm just going to tell y'all that was my worst moment on screen was the end of the Heal Yourself video. I don't know. And to answer your question, I don't know what I was going to do. Dance, but I don't know what was going on. I have no idea what I was thinking. Jason says the bullying moved to online now. Yeah, and it could be really worse because then you could have whole chat groups. People could be talking about you, and you come to school the next day and the whole school was talking about you. It's terrible. We're at 1 hour and 24. Let me scroll down to the bottom. I just jumped a bunch of comments. Hardcore says, dealing with bullies is the only way to make them stop. Yeah. My last bully was in the 8th grade. By then, I won the beat down belt. But this long-time bully had to start, so I had to deal with him. Yeah, you have to deal with bullies. You have to deal with them early. But by the time you wait until you've had enough, you've really taken a lot of abuse. Let's see. Dr. Charles said they get stabby stab over there though. I don't know what you're talking about, but I can understand. You mean if you mean like in the hood or somewhere, yeah, it could get rough, man. This is a subject I was not even gonna give any energy to, and I'm not. I'm just gonna let it stand here. Jim Jones doesn't have any even belong in the same breath as Nas. I'm just gonna leave that there. Jimmy Knight says, I watched an old interview with Scott LaRock, and it was cool to learn he had a degree. Yes, Scott LaRock had a college degree. KRS says that in Criminal Minded. DJ Scott LaRock has a college degree. Blastmaster KRS writes poetry. He seemed like he was also highly intelligent. Would have been a cool dude to know. Yeah, I talk about my relationship with Scott LaRock in great detail in the book. Spook Rum says, are there any artists you refuse to work with because you know they won't do your production justice? No. I don't know. First of all, if you're paying, if you hire me to produce, it's not my job to say whether you did my beat justice. My job is to try to bring out the best of you and try to make a good song. I don't know if there's an unsigned act that I'm not really feeling, I don't know if I would work with them like, pro bono, just because I'm not feeling, your style or whatever. But as an artist that's out, no. Well, more back in the day than now, I was open to work with whoever wanted to work. I've probably produced at least 30, 35 records, songs that's come out on a major label, that has been released on a major label release, probably like 35. I've probably done another 35 or 40 songs that's come out independent, right? Maybe 30. But that's like 66, that's probably like 50, 60 tracks that I've done that's come out. I've probably done 500 tracks. I would have loved to have gotten out more than 30 out of 500. Even now, if you listen, for those that's just checking in, we went over this beat tape that I had from 91. And I was playing some music that ended up becoming the song We In There. On this cassette, there's probably 10 beats. And 2 of them combined to become one song. The other ones, nothing ever happened to any of them. Just, that's just this cassette. It took 10 tracks to come up with one song. So I wish I could have worked with more people back in the day, because I had a lot of music. I still do. That's why I said, for those that just checking in, I'm going to start posting music, maybe a track a week on this channel, just to get some music out that I have. I really enjoy playing the music. I know I'm like Erykah Badu says, I'm an artist. I'm sensitive about my shit. When you put your music out there like that, or put anything out there like that, you're opening yourself up for people to call you whack. And, and I'm going to have to deal with that. If people say my beats are whack, I'm going to have to deal with it. But each week I'm going to put up a track just for people to check out, enjoy. You could write in the comments section if you like it, I don't like it, whatever. Even if you don't like it, it's cool. I'm going to put them up. Get some more beats out. Flochi says, that heel video is dope. I can't believe I never saw it. I just watched it. Your shorts were fine, Kenny. Man, I think my shorts were too short. I despise that video. It was a great song and video. I don't like me. All right, we're at an hour and a half, y'all. Let me scroll down to the very, very bottom. And Jamie says, finally caught a Friday Live. Peace, Kenny. Peace. What's good, Kenny, in chat? Let's see. The Scientist. Much love from Spain. Big up Spain. Word, that's dope. Where's Patrick Y? Where is Patrick Y? Hopefully Patrick Y will catch later. And for matter of fact, I'm going to say this one more time. Big up to the Rewind crew. That's going to check this out later on. We do this every Friday and Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got some guests coming up soon. I'll let you guys know. And God willing, we will be here next Tuesday. And God willing, all you guys will be here as well. Okay, Ultra said Kelly rocking those Larry Bird shorts. Word. But this is when the Jordan shorts era had came in. I'm still rocking the Larry Bird shorts. Not good. Aluma says Kelly with them high ass shorts. See, this is because the heel video I put it out there. And now I'm gonna get the heat, but I'm gonna take the heat though because I'm telling y'all I was bugging. So if y'all say I was bugging, yeah, I was. I don't know what I thought. I looked fine. Kashantesh, am I saying Kashantesh? What was Jamal Ski like? Mad cool. Matter of fact, I hope to get Jamal Ski on the channel. So we all started in BDP around the same time. Jamal Ski's on my Facebook page. He was mad cool. Big up Jamal Ski. You should get him on the channel so he could talk. All right. Bring Black Thought on the show sometime. Would love to. I do not know. I met Black Thought. He was cool, but I don't know him like that. Let's see. All right. I'm jumping off. This is the DJ Kenny Parker Show. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to catch you on Tuesday. I probably will put a beat up on Sunday. I got to see because I'm going to do that Milli Vanilli Epic Fail. So I'm going to see which one of them I'm going to put up first. All right. I'll catch you guys in a few days. Peace.